This video is about how to responsibly price artwork. My name is Linus Blanton. I am an adjunct instructor at Lamar University, Beaumont, Texas. And my goal in this video is to explain how to come up with a base price so that you can figure out your highs and your lows off of that base price. I will start out with a common sense approach, which everybody already knows, but I've got to say it anyway. It kind of makes me feel like a teacher, you know. Ask your friends, ask your professor, ask gallery owners, and anyone that has to do with art, just ask their opinion what your price should be. That's a good common sense, good place to start for our students. Another visual, since my students are visually orientated, is that just imagine how much money in your hand would it take you to let go of that piece of artwork? And sometimes that works. You can kind of get an idea of where to go, where to start on pricing your work. A business approach is $10 an hour plus expenses, and then you can add a little bit for profit as well. But you have to make your expenses back. And sometimes that works and sometimes it doesn't. I have one example that doesn't work is that my instructor, Jerry Newman, would tell us in the past that if you spend 20 hours on a piece of artwork and you take all that experience and all that knowledge and wisdom and put it into a 30-minute piece, and the 30-minute piece is better than the 20-hour piece, I would put a higher price tag on the 30-minute piece because it has unity, spontaneity, and it's expressive more than the 20-hour piece. And that's kind of a judgment call. Another approach is I would call a real estate approach. How do you figure out how much your house is worth is by going to the different sales in the neighborhood and see what is selling that is comparable to your house. And you do that with your artwork. You'll go to the different people, different galleries and see what's comparable and how your work and how your prices are related to theirs. What you have to be real careful with is that sometimes you're comparing apples and oranges. If you think your work is comparable to someone else's and they have a better resume, they have better experience, they have better accomplishments, that a gallery owner and a collector, they're going to want to know what your track record is so that their investment is safe, that you're going to continue doing artwork. If you're taking art classes and these are your paintings or your pottery that's coming out of that class, you might not continue doing artwork, but if you have a good resume, you will. So that does count in having a higher price for your work, having that track record. Okay, something to avoid, and is the emotional ties to your work. And the next couple of things I want to talk about is what makes your artwork really good, but it also can make you price your work at an unreasonable direction. If this is the best piece you've ever done, and you have emotional ties, or you have special meaning to your work, or if it has special uniqueness and creativity, you are emotionally tied to that work, you don't want to let it go, so you're going to put a higher price tag. What I recommend is to put it into your own personal collection, and until you have grown past that piece. You grow visually first. That's why artists are never satisfied with what they do, because they're already better visually than that last piece. And then physically your work increases, improves, and your next piece, your next painting, your next piece of pottery is actually better. And when you have grown past that previous piece, that if that was your very best piece, then you can put a more reasonable price on it. Something else to avoid coming up with a base price is the rich uncle syndrome. The rich uncle that buys your work for 3 times what it really is worth and is sight unseen. And that's great. It's great that your family appreciates and supports you, but it's very difficult if you are making your base price on that sale. So you want to be aware of that. Also, opinion. If it's your opinion that you're better than Picasso, it's very difficult to get $1 million for your work. And it's kind of an over-exaggeration, but it's difficult to put your base price on your opinion. Also, a not-for-sale price. If you want your gallery owners and collectors to remember the quality of your work, not the sticker shock of this high price tag of a not-for-sale price. So you want to kind of avoid doing that. Next, I would recommend that you know your venue. Most art leagues charge a 30% commission on sales. Art festivals can be from $0 to $500 for the weekend. Art galleries are 50% and up on commission. And you should look at a commission as they're paying them to the art galleries to promote your name and to get your work out there and get it out in collections. And that's a good thing. So I'm kind of changing my attitude toward a commission. So it's not a bad thing at all. It's a little bit controversial. Should you add the commission to the price tag of your work? All the artists I talked to said yes, and all the gallery people I talked to said no. And the reason they said no is because you can price yourself right out of a sale. And the reason it is yes is that you're going to get half of what you really want as far as the value of your work. So maybe you'll meet somewhere in between the that commission adding or taking away. A little different approach is the Warren McKenzie, Bernard Leach, Soshi Hamada connection there that they recommend. What they've done in the past was to make a lot of work, really good work, sell it at a low price, and to keep it moving, keep the money moving, that you had money to buy new supplies. And that's another philosophy that, and you have to make up your own mind if you want to do something like that. I love Hardin Black. Hardin Black was a ceramicist and ceramic teacher out of San Antonio years ago. And he would make sure that everybody left his studio with something. So sometimes it's nice to give, and then that will draw people back to your studio and actually make more sales as well. So I'm trying to figure out what kind of giveaways I could have, small giveaways, pinch pots, and pots that might have stuck to the shelf that we can grind the bottom, that you might not want to put out for sale. It'd be great giveaways for people. The seller and the buyer should be happy with the sale. So keep that in mind, that you want to give somebody a deal, and you also want to make money as well. Consistency is the cornerstone for good pricing, and you want to keep that in mind. Be consistent with your work. And don't be afraid to let go of these pieces. Your artwork should have a life of its own. You want the piece to be handed down from generation to generation. After you're gone, you want the piece to possibly end up in a museum or a collection or a collector. So letting go of those really wonderful pieces and sometimes giving people a bargain is a great way to make new sales in the future. And hope things go well, and the selling is as enjoyable as making the work.